Do you ever find yourself on the ropes, frozen, not knowing what to do? Well, you're in luck, because in this video, I'm going to give you 6 different things you can do when you find yourself on the ropes to get yourself in a better position and then win an exchange. Without knowing these 6 things, when you inevitably find yourself on the ropes, you'll be frozen, not know what to do, and you'll start getting picked apart. So listen very carefully. The first thing you can do when you're on the ropes doesn't actually entail getting off them. It's using it to your advantage. Whenever you get backed up onto the ropes, your opponent sees this as an opportunity to attack, and therefore you can time their attack with a counter attack. I remember a guy that I was fighting at the start of this year. He basically just walked around the edge of the ring and just stood on the ropes, waited for me to attack, and then he'd just throw some like looping hook or whatever. About him, but but seriously though, all you need to do with this little tactic is wait on the ropes, keep your head back, and as soon as they go to throw, that's when you loop, take your head off the center line, or throw some big hooks. After you've thrown these hooks, then you can pivot off, take an angle. However, your opponent's going to know what you're doing, so they're going to use feints to try and trigger the reaction early so they can counter your counter and their attack will still work. So what you've got to do whilst you're waiting on those ropes is be feinting as well, as if you're going to push forward and throw an attack yourself, getting them to attack, and then as they attack, that's when you catch them with those hooks, okay? So walk them onto the punches, then get yourself off the ropes. How do you do that? You're about to learn with the next 5 steps. The second option you have when you get caught on the ropes is to clinch and turn. Now, clinching is messy and it's boring and no one likes to watch it, but it's super useful for getting yourself out of sticky situations like you would if you were on the ropes. So to clinch, you need to close the range quickly, and you do that when either you're attacking or they're attacking. Right? It's as simple as smothering their work, getting too close range for the range at which they're throwing punches, and then tangling up their arms. When you clinch, don't grab anything other than their arms. Right? Don't like grab their head, because I mean that's the worst thing you can do. You're leaving your head and your body open, and they've got their arms free to now throw shots. So tangle up their arms by going under and looping round, okay, or going over and like holding them like that, so they're stuck in their guard position there and they can't throw any shots from here. Once you've done that and you've got a hold of them, then you're going to spin them round. Just use your core muscles and twist them round, put them on the ropes, and that's where you want to break free of the clinch. You want to push them off and then throw an attack. Once you've done that, you've taken your poor position and turned it into a great position by using the clinch and turn. Option number 3, when you're on the ropes, your opponent should be, if they've got correct ring craft, should be in between you and the center of the ring, right? They should be directly in front of you, which means that you've got space this side and you've got space this side to break free. Now, depending how far along the ropes you are, depends on which side you'll go. If you can see more space open to your right side, then you'll go to the right. If you can see more space to your left, then you go to the left. But how can you take an angle and do this effectively? The slip, step, pivot, or just the step pivot. Use your opponent's attack against them. So like we talked about with the clinch and turn, you're going to wait for the range to close, or they're going to come forward with an attack, and then you're going to take an angle as they do that. So as they come forward, that's when you're going to break right or break left. You do that by taking your lead foot and stepping that to either side. So let's say they're coming forward with an attack. As they come forward, I can see there's more open space this side. I'm going to go to my left. I'm going to take my lead foot there, and then I'm going to use that as a pinpoint to pivot with, bringing my back foot round and getting myself off the ropes. Now I've got all this space behind me to move round and circle off and take the center of the ring. You can also do this going to your left, step here, and then come round. And you can also add in a little slip as you step. So I'm taking my head off the center line here, or off the center line here. You want to time their attack as they come forward. The next thing you can use is foot feints. If you're moving around the edge of the ring, then your opponent is going to throw their punches the same side that you're moving to. So if I'm like shuffling around the ring this way, they're going to try to throw shots from this side, so they meet me with it. Right. So what I'm going to do to combat that is use foot feints. If I'm coming this way, I could feint this way, try to get them to throw that way, and I can push off and go back this way. Right. So using foot feints, they can just be little half steps. I could feint to go this way and then push off that way, or I could feint to go that way and push off that way. You could also do that step pivot, but do it as more of a feint. So I could go there, as if I'm going to pivot off that way. I could go there, and I can just use my lead foot to try and get them to go the opposite way to the way that I'm going to escape. Of course, same thing as always. Once we've escaped, we're going to move round and try reclaim the center of the ring. Of course, as you're stepping to either side, a little bit of head movement will always help. So as I foot feint that way, I could roll back this way to make sure they don't get caught with any other shots. Number 5 is fight your way out. Just go directly at them, throwing punches. The most likely thing they're going to do, unless it's like, oh, a better BF if you're having a bad day, is they're just going to step back, and then you're off the ropes. You're out the danger zone. So if you find yourself caught here, then just fight your way out with straight shots, pushing them back, using that jab, keeping the shoulder high, the rear hand high, making sure you're protected. The most likely thing they're going to do is they're just going to step backwards. So problem solved, you're off the ropes. The 6th thing you can do is just not get caught on the ropes in the first place. You might be wondering, how the hell do you do that? Well, something that I learned last season was you can just like not go back. You can just stand in the center of the ring, just hold your ground and just not step back into the ropes. You can just stay here, and as soon as they come forward, use that to your advantage and throw as they come forward. So if they come throwing their jabs, trying to push you back, throw some big right hands and then rip to the body or something, and just stay here. However, if you're going to hold your feet and stay in the center of the ring and not go back, then you need good ring craft. You need to be able to control the ring, cut off the ring, get your opponent where you want them. And this sort of stuff I teach in my private coaching program, and I'll leave the link in the description. All right, I hope this video helped and it stops you getting caught on the ropes, not knowing what to do. See you later.